Life can feel like it zips by, doesn't it? One minute you're raising a family, the next you're watching grandkids grow up, and you start thinking about the years ahead. We all hope for a long, healthy run, picturing ourselves vibrant and active well into our later decades. It's a beautiful vision, one filled with family, hobbies, and the simple joys of everyday life. But here's a thought that might feel a bit heavy, while many of us aim to sail past that 80th birthday and keep going strong. The reality is that a significant number of people don't get to enjoy those bonus years with the vitality they hoped for. Sometimes, the reasons aren't the big, dramatic illnesses we often worry about. They can be quieter, more insidious things, aspects of our lives we might not even realize are holding us back from living those extra years fully, or even reaching them at all. It's a painful reality to consider, the potential for missed moments, for not seeing all the milestones you'd hoped for. There's a kind of secret to not just adding years to your life, but adding life to your years. Especially as we get older. It's not usually found in miracle cures or complicated medical procedures. Often, it's hidden in plain sight, in surprising parts of our daily lives and mindsets. In this video, we're going to look at 5 often overlooked, surprising reasons why many people don't live past 80 with the energy and joy they could. And more importantly, what simple shifts you can make starting today. We'll dive into areas you might not have considered health-related, but which can make a profound difference in your longevity and quality of life. Watch to the very end for something that will surprise you and might just change everything. Let's start by looking at something that feels fundamental to being human, but which many of us find ourselves doing less and less as we age, truly connecting with others. You might think, well, I see my family now and then, or maybe a neighbor. And that's good, of course it is, but I'm talking about regular, meaningful social interaction. It's not just about avoiding loneliness, which is important in itself for mental well-being. This goes deeper. Chronic social isolation, feeling disconnected or lacking a sense of belonging, is a significant stressor on the body. When you feel alone or like you don't have a support system, your body can react as if it's under constant threat. This triggers the release of stress hormones like cortisol. Now, cortisol is useful in short bursts, like if you need to run from danger, but when it's chronically elevated because you're feeling isolated day after day, year after year, it starts to wear down your system. This constant low-level stress impacts your immune system, making you more vulnerable to illnesses. It affects your cardiovascular health, increasing the risk of high blood pressure and heart problems. It even influences your brain health, contributing to cognitive decline and increasing the risk of conditions like dementia. It sounds dramatic, I know, but the evidence is quite clear. Our bodies and minds are wired for connection. Think about it, our ancestors relied on their tribes for survival, for safety, for support. That need hasn't disappeared, even in our modern world. Yet, as we get older, friend groups might shrink, family might live far away, and mobility issues can make it harder to get out and see people. Retirement can mean the loss of daily social interaction with colleagues. Suddenly, the opportunities to connect naturally dwindle, and if we're not intentional about replacing them, we can slide into isolation without even fully realizing the toll it's taking. The surprising part isn't just that loneliness feels bad, but that it actively damages your physical health in ways comparable to smoking or obesity. So, what can you do? It might sound simple, but it requires effort. First, identify the people in your life you feel good around. Even if it's just 1 or 2 individuals, make a conscious effort to reach out regularly. A weekly phone call, a video chat, a monthly coffee date. Put it in your calendar like any other important appointment. Second, look for opportunities to meet new people who share your interests. Community centers, libraries, local clubs centered around hobbies like gardening, reading, knitting, walking. or even board games are fantastic resources. Volunteering is another powerful way to connect. You're not just meeting people, you're contributing, which adds another layer of well-being we'll talk about later. Don't underestimate the power of simple, regular interactions. Saying hello to your neighbors, chatting with the cashier at the grocery store, joining a low-impact exercise class. These small moments add up and chip away at that feeling of isolation. Think about the people you know who seem to stay sharp and energetic well into their 80s and beyond. Chances are, they have vibrant social lives. They're part of something. They laugh with others. They have people to lean on, and people who lean on them. It's a protective shield, not just against feeling blue, but against the physical ravages of stress and aging. Making connection a priority isn't a luxury. It's a fundamental pillar of health as important as diet and exercise. It takes intention, especially when it feels easier to just stay home. But the effort is repaid exponentially in terms of both how long you live and how well you live those years. Nurturing your relationships is truly nurturing your longevity. Now, closely related to the social aspect, but distinct in its own way, is the second surprising reason many people don't thrive past 80: a loss of purpose or engagement. When we retire, or perhaps after children are grown and gone, or maybe after a significant life change, the structure and goals that used to fill our days can disappear. For decades, our lives were often dictated by work schedules, raising families, or other major responsibilities. There was a clear rhythm, a sense of being needed, and specific objectives to meet. What happens when those are gone for many? It leaves a void, and that void can be detrimental to both mental and physical health. You might think, retirement is for relaxing. I've earned the right to do nothing. And absolutely, rest and relaxation are crucial. But there's a difference between healthy downtime and a pervasive lack of meaningful activity or goals. Our brains and bodies thrive on being engaged. When you have something to look forward to, something that challenges you a little, something that makes you feel useful or interested, it keeps your cognitive wheels turning and provides motivation to stay active and take care of yourself. Without purpose, days can blend into one another. Motivation can wane. And it's easy to fall into sedentary habits or neglect self-care because, well, what's the point? Studies show that people who maintain a strong sense of purpose in later life tend to live longer, healthier lives. They have lower rates of chronic diseases, better cognitive function, and even better physical mobility. Why? Because purpose drives behavior. If your purpose is to volunteer at the local animal shelter, you have a reason to get dressed, leave the house, and be physically active. If your purpose is to learn to paint, you're keeping your brain engaged and potentially joining classes or groups, adding social connection too. If your purpose is simply to maintain your garden, you're getting physical activity and engaging with the natural world. Finding or creating purpose doesn't have to mean starting a new career or undertaking a massive project. It's about having reasons to get up in the morning that excite or fulfill you, even in small ways. It could be dedicating time to a long-neglected hobby. Maybe you always wanted to learn a musical instrument, write stories, or master a language. Now is the perfect time. It could be focusing on family history, organizing old photos, or documenting family stories. It could be contributing to your community in a way that feels right, volunteering your skills, mentoring younger people, or helping out a neighbor. It could even be setting small, personal goals, like reading one book a week, mastering a new recipe, or walking a certain number of steps each day. The key is that it should feel meaningful to you. It should spark your interest and give your days structure and direction. Think about people like Grandma Moses, who started painting seriously in her late 70s and became a renowned artist, or centenarians who still pursue hobbies, teach skills, or stay involved in community life. They aren't just passing the time, they are actively engaged in life. They have reasons to be healthy and present. Losing purpose can lead to apathy, which in turn can lead to neglecting health, withdrawing socially, and overall decline. Finding or rekindling that spark, that sense of engagement and contribution, is incredibly protective and adds not just years, but vitality and joy to later life. So, ask yourself, what genuinely interests me? What makes me feel useful? What small goal could I set for myself today or this week? Cultivating purpose is a powerful antidote to the potential pitfalls of aging. Now, thinking about how our internal state affects our ability to thrive. That brings me to the third surprising reason many people don't live past 80: vibrantly chronic low-grade inflammation. We usually hear about inflammation when we sprain an ankle or get a cut. The area gets red, swollen, and painful. That's acute inflammation, the body's immediate response to injury or infection. And it's a good thing. It's part of healing. But there's another kind of inflammation, a silent, simmering, low-grade version that can persist throughout the body for years without causing obvious pain or swelling. This is chronic inflammation, and it's like having your body's alarm system constantly buzzing quietly in the background, even when there's no immediate emergency. This persistent, low-level activation of the immune system might not feel like much day to day, but over time, it causes damage to cells and tissues throughout the body. It's now recognized as a major underlying factor in many age-related diseases, including heart disease, type 2 diabetes, certain cancers, Alzheimer's disease, arthritis, and even depression. It contributes to general fatigue, aches, and a feeling of just not being quite right. So, while you might not be diagnosed with a specific inflammatory disease until much later, this silent inflammation could be laying the groundwork for health problems years down the line, chipping away at your vitality and longevity. What causes this chronic low-grade inflammation? Several factors, many of which become more prevalent or impactful as we age. Diet plays a huge role. A diet high in processed foods, sugary drinks, refined carbohydrates, and unhealthy fats like trans fats found in some processed items is pro-inflammatory. Think of sugary snacks, fried foods, and white bread, while okay in moderation occasionally. Making them staples fuels that internal fire. On the other hand, foods rich in antioxidants and healthy fats are anti-inflammatory. Think colorful fruits and vegetables, leafy greens, fatty fish like salmon, nuts, seeds, and olive oil. What you eat truly has a profound impact on this hidden process. Beyond diet, other lifestyle factors contribute. Chronic stress, like the kind we discussed earlier from social isolation or lack of purpose, fuels inflammation. Poor sleep also increases inflammatory markers in the body. Lack of physical activity can contribute, as can smoking and excessive alcohol. The good news is that many of the things that cause chronic inflammation are within our power to change or manage. It's not about drastic measures, but consistent, healthy choices. Simple, actionable steps can make a big difference. Focus on adding anti-inflammatory foods to your daily meals. Throw some berries on your breakfast cereal. Snack on a handful of nuts. Make sure half your plate at lunch and dinner is filled with colorful vegetables. Use olive oil for cooking and dressings. And try to incorporate fatty fish a couple of times a week. Small swaps like choosing whole grains over refined white bread also help. Managing stress is crucial. Finding healthy ways to cope, whether it's through mindfulness, deep breathing, spending time in nature, listening to music, or pursuing a relaxing hobby. Prioritizing sleep, aiming for 7 to 9 hours of quality sleep each night, allows your body to repair and reduce inflammation. And gentle, regular movement also helps regulate the immune system and reduce inflammation. Addressing chronic inflammation isn't just about treating disease. It's a powerful strategy for maintaining vitality and preventing the acceleration of aging processes that can shorten a healthy lifespan. It's one of the most surprising yet fundamental keys to thriving later in life. Now, thinking about movement, or sometimes the lack of it. Brings us to the fourth surprising reason many don't reach their full potential for longevity: the fear of movement or injury. As we get older, falls become a bigger concern. Bones can be more fragile. Balance might not be what it once was. And the consequences of a fall can be serious, leading to fractures, lengthy recovery, and a significant decline in independence. It's completely understandable to want to avoid this risk. However, the natural response for many is to simply move less. They avoid stairs, walk shorter distances, skip activities they used to enjoy, and generally become more sedentary out of a fear of falling or getting hurt. Here's the surprising paradox while intended to protect you. Reducing movement actually increases your risk of falling and injury in the long run. Why? Because regular physical activity, especially weight-bearing exercise and balance training, is what keeps your muscles strong, your bones dense, and your balance sharp. When you stop using your muscles regularly, they atrophy, they get weaker and smaller. Your bones can lose density, becoming more brittle. Your balance naturally declines without practice. So, by moving less out of fear, you become weaker, less stable, and, ironically, more prone to falls and more likely to be seriously injured if you do fall. It becomes a vicious cycle. Fear leads to inactivity. Inactivity leads to frailty. Frailty leads to a higher risk of falling, which increases the fear further. This doesn't mean you should suddenly start running marathons or taking up high-risk sports. Absolutely not. The key is safe, appropriate, consistent movement tailored to your current abilities. The goal is to maintain and build strength, flexibility, and balance, not to put yourself in danger. Simple activities can make a world of difference. Walking is fantastic. Start with short distances you feel comfortable with and gradually increase over time. Even walking indoors or in a mall provides benefits. Gentle strength exercises, using light weights, resistance bands, or even your own body weight like sitting and standing from a chair, help maintain muscle mass which supports your joints and improves stability. Balance exercises, like standing on one foot while holding onto something sturdy, walking heel to toe, or doing Tai Chi. Specifically train your balance system. Activities like swimming or water aerobics are excellent because the water supports your body, reducing the risk of impact while still providing resistance for strength and improving flexibility. Many community centers and gyms offer classes specifically designed for seniors, focusing on gentle movements, strength, and balance in a safe environment. If you have specific health concerns or a history of falls, talking to your doctor or a physical therapist is a great first step. They can assess your needs and recommend exercises that are safe and effective for you. The surprising part is realizing that inactivity is the greater risk. Embracing safe, regular movement, even when there's a natural apprehension, is one of the most powerful things you can do to maintain your independence. Reduce your fall risk in the long term, keep your body strong, and ultimately, enable you to enjoy more active, vibrant years. It's about building confidence and capability through gentle persistence. Don't let the fear paralyze you. Let informed, safe movement empower you. Staying active isn't just about preventing disease. It's about maintaining the physical ability to live the life you want to live. Finally, the fifth surprising reason that can limit a healthy, long life past 80 is something many of us are perhaps a little guilty of: ignoring subtle changes in our health or dismissing them as just old age. It's easy to do, isn't it? You notice you're a bit more tired than usual, or you have a new ache that wasn't there before, or your digestion feels a little off. The natural thought might be, well, I'm not as young as I used to be. And you brush it off, hoping it will go away, or simply accepting it as an inevitable part of getting older. While some changes are normal parts of aging, many subtle symptoms can be early warning signs of conditions that are completely treatable or manageable. especially if caught early. When you dismiss these signs because you attribute them solely to age, you might be delaying diagnosis and treatment for something that could be easily addressed. For example, persistent fatigue might not just be old age, but could be related to thyroid issues, vitamin deficiencies, sleep apnea, or even early heart problems, all of which can often be managed effectively. A new ache might be the start of arthritis, where early intervention with physical therapy or medication could significantly improve mobility and reduce pain. Changes in digestion could point to dietary intolerances or other gastrointestinal issues that can be resolved. The surprising aspect here is the mindset. It's the passive acceptance of decline as inevitable, rather than an active curiosity about what your body is telling you. Your body is constantly communicating with you through these symptoms. Learning to listen to those signals and take them seriously is a crucial part of proactive health management as you age. When you attribute everything to just getting old, you lose the opportunity to intervene when interventions are often most effective and least invasive. You essentially delay dealing with a problem until it becomes much bigger and harder to treat. What can you do? First, cultivate a habit of paying attention. Notice new or worsening symptoms, even if they seem minor. Are you consistently more tired than usual? Is that nagging ache getting worse or lasting longer? Are you having digestive issues that weren't there before? Second, don't automatically explain them away as just age. While it might be related to aging, it's worth investigating if it's new, persistent, or bothersome. Third, and most importantly, discuss any new or significant change with your doctor. Don't feel like you're being a hypochondriac. Your doctor is your partner in health. Describe your symptoms clearly and explain how they are affecting you. Be your own advocate. If something doesn't feel right, speak up. Getting a proper diagnosis, even for something seemingly minor, can lead to simple solutions that improve your quality of life significantly and prevent future complications. It could be a simple dietary adjustment, a change in medication timing, a specific exercise program, or managing a condition before it becomes severe. This proactive approach, this refusal to passively accept decline and instead actively seek understanding and solutions, is a powerful strategy for maintaining health and vitality. It allows you to address potential roadblocks early on, keeping you on the path towards a longer, healthier, and more vibrant life. Listening to your body isn't about fearing aging. It's about respecting your body and working with it to live your best life possible. So, we've talked about connection, finding purpose, tackling hidden inflammation, staying safely active, and listening to your body. These 5 things, they might not be the first things that come to mind when you think about living past 80, but they are incredibly powerful. They're about more than just avoiding illness. They're about building a foundation of resilience, vitality, and well-being that supports you year after year. Cultivating strong social ties gives you support and reduces stress. Finding meaning and purpose keeps your mind engaged and gives you reasons to stay healthy. Addressing chronic low-grade inflammation through diet and lifestyle choices protects your body's systems from silent damage. Staying safely active maintains your physical strength and independence. And paying attention to your body, listening to its signals, allows you to address potential issues early, keeping you ahead of the curve. Remember, none of these require drastic, overwhelming changes overnight. It's about small, consistent steps. Can you make one extra phone call this week? Can you think of one small activity that sparks your interest? Can you add one more serving of vegetables to your plate today? Can you take a 15-minute walk around the block? Can you make a note of that persistent symptom and mention it at your next doctor's appointment? Small changes really can make a big difference to your health and happiness, adding not just years to your life, but vibrant, joyful life to your years. It's never too late to start nurturing these aspects of your well-being. The potential for a long, healthy, and fulfilling life doesn't dim just because you've reached a certain age. In fact, Focusing on these often surprising areas can help unlock that potential and allow you to truly thrive. What resonated with you the most from what we discussed today? Which of these 5 areas feels like something you could focus on? Even just a little bit. Starting now. Sharing your thoughts or experiences in the comments below helps everyone in this community. And I'd love to hear from you. If you found this video helpful and encouraging, please give it a like so others can find it too. And if you'd like more ideas and support on living your best life at every age, make sure you subscribe to the channel. You are capable of so much. And focusing on these surprising keys can make all the difference. Live your best life at every age.